Hello and welcome to another episode of the Feather on Football podcast with me, Luke Feather. Today I've got a special guest. I'm joined by Sky Sports football reporter FABRIZIO Romano. FABRIZIO, thank you for joining me.
Hello, big pleasure. Really, thank you for the invitation and ready to answer to your questions.
So obviously this month must be really busy for you as well, with the January transfer window being open. How are you finding it so far? And has it been as busy as you've expected it to be, or has it been quiet?
Yes, a bit quiet just because I was expecting it, just because, with the pandemic, it's a complicated situation for top clubs and top clubs move the market. So it's normal. If you don't have top clubs working like Real Madrid and Barcelona and top clubs in England and the same here in Italy, it's really complicated to move with top players. So with the pandemic, they can't do anything big just because they can't plan for next summer, for example. They don't know about the stadium, when the people will be back at the stadium. And the same situation also with the merchandising is a complicated situation for top clubs. So they can plan for the future. And that's why going with big deals in January is getting really complicated. So I was expecting this kind of window. And I think in the coming weeks, something will happen just because, it's easier when you arrive to the last week to try for loan deals, swap deals, this kind of solution. But at the moment, it's really, really complicated.
So of course, like traditionally, the January window doesn't usually have the bigger deals. I know we've had players like Bruno Fernandes last year, but that was a big deal for January. So do you feel like because it's mid-season that as well as the COVID pandemic, obviously that we're not getting the big transfers that we might usually get? Or do you think it's just the fact that it's the January window and people don't?
For sure. Your idea about January transfer window is perfect just because it's really like this. So the clubs don't do anything big. As you say, Bruno Fernandes was like something unusual in football. So you don't see top clubs moving for this kind of players in January. And it's always been like this. But this year with the pandemic, I'm surprised just because also when some clubs need something, and for example, look at also clubs that need selling players, like for example, Inter with Christian Eriksen, we're talking about an amazing player, and they still in 15 days in January, they haven't received any bid for Christian Eriksen. We're talking about a player who was playing a Champions League final like 2 years ago. So we're talking about the top player, and he has no bids because it's a complicated situation. So yes, January has always been complicated, but the clubs were ready to be fast on the opportunities, So if some opportunities, some loan deals, some good player on the market, they were ready. In this case, they can't move also on this kind of opportunities. So you can see clubs like Liverpool having big problems in defense, and they are not signing anyone just because they want to have a big opportunity or nothing. So in this moment, it's getting more complicated than you can expect in normal January window.
Do you think that can become frustrating for the players as well? Like you mentioned Christian Eriksen, obviously a brilliant footballer, and he's not getting the game time that he deserves at Inter Milan, really. Do you think he'll be getting frustrated with the current situation?
Yes, I would say yes, just because, for players like Christian Eriksen, but I can mention many others like, I don't know, Dele Alli, for example, or other ones. And for sure, they're frustrated just because you're not playing, you want space, you want to leave the club, and Dele Alli wants to leave the club, and Eriksen wants to leave the club. But they don't receive any bid just because the clubs who want them, they are waiting till the last week. So probably they are waiting for a loan deal. And at the moment they are not playing, they are frustrated with the manager, they are frustrated like Eriksen with Conte. So it's really, really complicated, not just for the clubs, but also with the players. But we have also to mention that, remember that the lucky people in this situation are always the players, just because, okay, they are playing. It's not as easy for everyone to be ready at work in this moment in the world, but the clubs are losing money. They are losing money with the stadium, they're losing money with the merchandising, but they are still paying the salaries to the players and nothing has changed. So also look at free agents asking 14 or 12 or 15 million euro per season after taxes. So they will never stop. And that's why I would say they are lucky. So that's it.
So despite it being potentially a more quiet window than usual, there's still been a fair amount of rumours, as there always will be in the transfer window. So, but one of the big ones that's really caught my eye is Upamecano at Leipzig. Obviously, there's a lot of speculation about him at the minute with his release clause as well. So one thing I was wondering about is release clause, because I saw that Leipzig wouldn't be willing to let him leave this window, but the release clause could be activated in the summer. Is there any truth in that, or could it be activated now?
No, only in the summer. All the release clause with Leipzig and with Red Bull Group are available in summer. So yes, this is the situation. And Red Bull Leipzig, they don't need money just because they have money and they have amazing players ready to be sold like next summer or when they want. So they have no problem with this kind of situation. Obviously, they have problems as all many other clubs, but it's not so big. For example, look at what's going on with Barcelona. So Leipzig are in a good situation. And for example, selling a player like Upamecano in the middle of the season, we're talking about a top center back, but also a leader for the squad. So it would be terrible to sell him right now. And they want to try also in the Champions League this year to do something big again. So that's why they say, okay, we stay with Upamecano till the end of the season, and then who will pay the clause will get the player. So that will be the situation next summer. Many clubs are interested, like Liverpool and Chelsea and Manchester United and Bayern Munich for sure, just because Bayern Munich want to keep him in the Bundesliga. They know that he's perfect for the Bundesliga. So always Bayern Munich try to sign these kind of players. Would be an amazing race, just because they need to negotiate just with the player and not with the club. And it will be the key, in my opinion. But for sure, it will be for next summer, just because in January it's impossible.
Okay, and another young defender that's potentially on the move. This one looks like it's gathering speed. Is Chelsea's Fikayo Tomori. There's been links with him with AC Milan. Has anything developed there that you know of?
Yes, it's true that AC Milan are looking for a centre back. They want a young one, so a talented one. They were trying for Simakan for Strasbourg, but this player has had an injury and he will be out for 2 months. So that's why AC Milan are now in talks with Chelsea for Tomori. They wanted to buy this kind of player and not just a loan. So that's why they are still talking, trying to understand the situation with the player and with the club. The player would be happy to join AC Milan, but he has also some opportunities in the Premier League on loan, like with Newcastle. So also the player has to decide about his future with Chelsea. But for sure, AC Milan are interested in this kind of player. They're looking for a centre-back. They have a new policy in the club since last year, going for young players, young talents, investing money on young talents, and they are first on the table here in Serie A in Italy. So they are on the right way, and they will sign a centre-back this winter. But I don't know if it will be Tomori, just because they want to buy him, and Tottenham and Chelsea, would like to loan at him. So it's up to the club, and it's up also to the player.
Yeah, it really sounded. Frank Lampard today in his press conference was talking very highly about Tomori. Obviously, he took him on loan with him when he went to Derby, and then he sort of introduced him to the first team squad. So he looks like he really highly rates him anyway. So, but moving across London, there's been a lot of speculation as well. Obviously, in the north of London, specifically with Mesut Ozil. There's been any developments there?
Yes, just because obviously it's over for Mesut Ozil with Arsenal, so we know that he's out from the squad, so obviously he's over. And they hope to sell him just because, or to terminate his contract, just because they need to sign new players, a quality midfielder, and selling players in this window, in this market, is so important to sign new ones. So that's why Arsenal are trying to find a solution. They are negotiating with the agent of Mesut Ozil to terminate the contract and let him go to Fenerbahce. The main problem is that he has a big salary, so at the moment he doesn't want to lose anything of this salary. So or Arsenal will help him to get the money till the end of the season, till the end of the contract, and he joins Fenerbahce, or Fenerbahce have to pay for this money. But Fenerbahce don't have the possibility of paying like 70.5 million euro per season. So it's really complicated situation on Mesut Ozil, but they are still in talks. They are negotiating just because Fenerbahce wants him. He wants to join Fenerbahce. He has also an opportunity in the MLS with DC United, so he wants to play. He wants to be back on the pitch, and in my opinion, he deserves to be back on the pitch, to be Mesut Ozil as we know him. So he needs to play, but at the moment the situation is not resolved yet. So negotiations are on. Fenerbahce are really confident they can find a solution, because as I told you before, at the start of the window, clubs say no, I don't want to sell the player, I want the money and everything. But at the end of the window, where you're right to the last week, the last days, the position can change that, because they need to sign a new one, and so selling player is important. And that's why I think at the end Fenerbahce can get Mesut Ozil if they will fix the situation with the salary.
So as for Arsenal then, because a lot's been made about how Ozil's not been in the squad and how they seem to have been lacking a creative midfielder, but in the last couple of weeks we've seen Emile Smith-Rowe come into the team. Are Arsenal still in the market for a creative midfielder? Maybe someone like Arouar, who they were linked with in the summer, or is Smith-Rowe just being promoted to their?
No. They are still looking for this kind of player. You know, they were also trying for Szoboszlai, then joined Leipzig, but they were trying really for Dominik Szoboszlai. And also Aouar has always been the first target for Arsenal. So they love him. They're convinced he would be perfect in the midfield. The problem is that Lyon are asking for 60 million euro. They are having an amazing season. They want to be back in the Champions League. So at the moment, with the president of Lyon, Olas, it's really difficult to negotiate in January for this kind of players. Imagine that Look at the situation of Depay, for example. He has just some months of contract, and the president is not letting him go if he doesn't have this money. So imagine for a while he has a contract. And last summer, also, the player was waiting for Arsenal to make a bid, but Lyon always asked around 50 or 60 million euro. So in January, it would be really difficult to sign this kind of player. I expect something different for Arsenal, player with a different price, like Buendia can be an option from Norwich. We will see, because at the moment there is no official bid for Buendia from Arsenal, but for sure when they will sell other players, you mentioned Ozil, we have to see also the situation with many other players like Papastatopoulos and Mustafi, and they did it with Saliba on loan and with Kolasinac. So selling players and loaning out players is so important in this moment to sign new ones. So immediately after, they will go for the quality midfielder, yes.
Okay. And well, sticking in North London, we've touched on him briefly, but Dele Alli obviously is not getting the game time that he would like either at Tottenham. There's been a lot of talk, maybe just rumours linking in with PSG, especially now Mauricio Pochettino has taken over at PSG. Is that something that you could see happening, or would that be a loan deal maybe, or a permanent deal, or?
Only loan deal for Dele Alli, so Tottenham won't consider a permanent deal for Dele Alli at this moment. They only open on a possible loan deal, but they want the right conditions, so it's not easy to negotiate with Daniel Levy. The president of Tottenham is the most difficult person in transfers for negotiation, so it's really, really difficult. And they only have 15 days, so it will be really difficult to find an agreement for Dele Alli. What I'm told is that the player is still pushing. He wants to leave. He wants to have a new opportunity. He wants to play. And in my opinion, it's normal. We're talking about a talented midfielder, so he needs to play. And that's why he's pushing. He's still hoping to leave the club, probably on loan. And we will see if it will be Paris Saint-Germain or another club, just because from Paris Saint-Germain, obviously, there is interest just because of Pochettino and many things. But also other clubs are looking at the situation of Dele Alli. So he's waiting. He's just waiting for the green light from Tottenham. We will see if we'll arrive, because with Daniel Levy, you can have anything guaranteed till you sign the contracts. So the situation is still open, but Dele wants to leave. And when a player wants to leave, he's going to try till the last days of the window.
Yeah. And then one player with a slightly different situation, because he's a free agent at the minute, is Diego Costa, Spanish striker, obviously left Atletico Madrid this month. Has there been any updates as to what his next club might be? I know there was sort of talks about Wolves, but that seems to have cooled off a little bit.
No, he's not receiving anything from Wolves, and the same for Arsenal and English clubs. He received a bid from Al Hilal to go to Arabic football, and he's just waiting right now. Al Hilal and also Chinese football clubs are trying to sign him. Also, some Brazilian clubs was calling him. So they're like trying with Diego, because, as you say, he's an amazing free agent. We're talking about a top striker, and he would be ready for a new chapter. What I'm told is that Diego is waiting also with Al Hilal and with many other clubs, because he would like to have a new opportunity in the Premier League. So he's like waiting for a top club calling him, having the opportunity, and if everything can happen when you have a free agent like this. Also, if you have some injury, you can go with Diego Costa like tomorrow morning and signing him. So he's just waiting. Also with his family, he will decide the next destination, but for sure he's hoping for Premier League. If nothing will arrive for Premier League, he can go also to other countries, as we mentioned with Al Hilal and many other clubs.
So another interesting thing about January is it's the first month where players whose contracts are expiring can start to negotiate with other clubs and begin to strike deals for the next club. And there are some big names available this summer potentially. Messi, Aguero, Sergio Ramos. Which of these sort of big names can you see leaving their clubs in the summer?
Yes, I would say the first one is David Alaba, in my opinion. He's probably the one who has decided to leave Bayern Munich 100%, and he wants to change. And Real Madrid are leading the race just because they're negotiating with the player, with his agent. His dream is to play for Real Madrid. So Alaba has good opportunities to leave Bayern Munich, really huge opportunities to leave Bayern Munich and to be the best, in my opinion, free agent, apart of Leo Messi, obviously, in the next market. And about the situation, also Liverpool are interested, but Real Madrid are leading the race, so we will see what's going on. And also with the situation of Sergio Ramos, we have to pay attention, because his priority is to stay at Real Madrid. He would love to stay at Real Madrid, to be the captain, to play in the new Bernabeu. So his dream is to stay, but he wants 2 years of contract, and Real Madrid are offering just 1 year of contract, the same of Luka Modric, for example. So Luka Modric has accepted to stay for 1 year, but Sergio Ramos wants 2 years of contract. So they are negotiating in this moment, and we will see if he will leave Real Madrid. Pay attention to Paris Saint-Germain, because they are interested, but Sergio Ramos, a free agent, would be amazing to see also other clubs trying for him, for sure. And Leo Messi will wait. till the situation of the new president, just because he wants to wait for the elections of Barcelona to meet the new president. We know that he had terrible period with Bartomeu, so he wants to look at the new project, the new board, if he will arrive a new manager next summer or not, the new incoming players, what's the project of the club. He wants to win. Leo Messi only wants to win. He would love to stay in Barcelona, but with a winning project. If the project will be different, he would be ready to change. And if Leo Messi will change, will be the biggest one. So for sure, we have a lot of names also here in Italy with Çalhanoğlu and Donnarumma with AC Milan. They are amazing players and they are with 6 months of contract, but they are both negotiating with AC Milan to extend their contracts. So I expect them to stay.
So we touched on Messi slightly there. I'd be interested to see, is he more interested in a sort of, he wants to be a part of another Champions League winning team, or would he be willing to stick around while younger players came in? Someone like Eric Garcia, who was meant to be coming from Man City. So would he be willing to stick around and sort of nurture the younger players, or does he want a quick sort of resolve?
Oh, your question is perfect. At the moment, I don't know, just because obviously he wants to talk with the club and to see the project. So we have just to wait this. But I would say that Leo, what I'm told by people around Messi, he would love to be in a club where he can see something like it was with Luis Suarez and Neymar, playing with this kind of players. Then the age is a problem, yes, for sure. For Barcelona, they are going for young talents, but also important players. Experienced players are key to win something and to win the Champions League. He is really tired with the situation in the Champions League, with Barcelona having difficult moments like last summer with Bayern Munich and many others with Roma, with Liverpool and many others these last years. So he wants to change the situation, and Leo is convinced that you can do it with talented players. The age is the theme, as you said, is a topic, but for sure having talented players is the key. So he would like to have something back like this kind of players. But really, in this moment for Barcelona is a terrible situation by financial side, as Leo said. And this is really true, just because they can't sign players if they don't sell players. It's really difficult in this moment to buy top players for Barcelona, to go with big wages. They need to change the situation of the salaries of the players. They can't pay like 20 million euro, 30 million euro for a player per season after taxes. So it's really difficult for Barcelona. I think it will be really difficult to convince Leo Messi, but it's up to the new president. So let's see who will be, what project he will have, what manager he will decide, and then we understand more about Leo Messi.
So that sort of tying in with the Eric Garcia situation, do you think it's off the table for him to join this window when they could get him for free in the summer?
It's a possibility. I think it's a possibility. It's up to the new president, because without the new president and new board, you can't sign any contract. But with this board, he has the total agreement. He said that he wants to join Barcelona. Also, Manchester City with Pep Guardiola, they were trying to convince him, pushing him to sign a new contract, also with an important bid for the player. But Eric wants to join Barcelona. So he's joining Barcelona 100% next summer. But if Barcelona will offer around 10 million euro, they can sign him also right now. So it will depend if they will sell some players, if they will sell some solution for their players. For sure, they can try for Garcia. I think when they will have the new president in the coming days, we will understand also for Eric. But 100% is joining Barcelona because he's decided and he has the agreement.
Yeah. Okay. So just moving on from the transfer window for now, you've managed to build a huge reputation within the football community, especially the online football community on Twitter. But how did your career in sports journalism begin?
This is a good story, just because, first of all, thank you for your words. And I always had a dream of working in football, but I wasn't really ready to play as a football player, obviously. I was terrible. So that's why I decided to go for journalism. I always like the word around transfers more than on the pitch journalism, I don't know why. It was just my passion to have transfers. I was dreaming with my club, signing players. So I always had this dream, always playing FIFA and Football Manager. And signing players for me was more exciting than playing matches. So building the club wasn't something amazing for me. And I started I remember with a small website here in Italy. So I had this opportunity, sending an email. It was so normal. So I was 17, 16. I sent an email to this small website. They gave me the opportunity of starting. And I remember one day, one agent called me to help him on this website to make an article about some young talents playing in Barcelona Academy. They were so young, imagine 15 players, 15 years old. So really, really young. And he asked me to help him. I still don't know how he had my phone number because I was no one. So Really, I don't know how. I was so young. I was 16, and he asked me to try. He was Italian, living in Barcelona, and I helped him with some players like Icardi and Deulofeu. They were playing with the young team of Barcelona.
Yeah.
And I helped him. Then he brought he was tried with Mauro Icardi to Sampdoria here in Italy, and then to Inter. So my first news was about Mauro Icardi to Inter, and thanks to him and my help to him. And that's how I started. I felt something special around the transfer window, the transfer market. So I started with this contact, with this source, and I gone with many others, going around the city. Here in Milano, you can meet with new people. Then I joined Sky Sport, like when I was 18, 2 years after this story. And that's it. That's how I started. Then I decided to share my news also on social media. I was convinced that the future is on social media more than on papers or on TV. I'm working with papers and with TV, but I see the future on social media. So I'm spending my time on social media, like sharing and not having anything like money from social media. But I like it just because you have the contact with people, with the fans, and I really like it. So that's how I started. And then respecting people like fans, sources, agents, directors, players is the key to be successful, in my opinion.
Well, it's some transfer to start with, Icardi to Inter Milan, but
yes, it was an amazing story because the agent told me about this transfer. It was November, and the transfer was for the summer. So imagine, I said, how is possible? You are telling me this player is joining Inter next summer, and we are in November, and everything can change in 7 months in football. And he told me, trust me, Icardi is going to Inter. And I told him, okay, you are my first source, so how I can say no? And it was correct.
Very good. And of course, we can't talk about your Twitter without mentioning "Here we go," because it's become something of a phenomenon on football Twitter. So where did this begin, and did you imagine it would take off how it has done?
No, it was totally casual. I wasn't planning to have like a benchmark or something mine, really. I was never planning something like this. I always was talking, I remember, about the transfer. I still don't remember what transfer it was, but on Twitter, I was like updating day by day on this transfer. It was about Manchester United, I remember, and I was updating, tweeting, until the day they finalized the deal, so it was done. And I tweeted, okay, it's a done deal. And many people were saying, okay, Fabrizio, we can say it's done. And I said, yes, finally, here we go. It was like saying, okay, finally it's fine. I'm tweeting like by 1 month on this transfer. And many people also for other transfer in the coming days, also from other clubs, Chelsea, Manchester City, Arsenal, saying, Fabrizio, okay, we can say here we go. It's a done deal. Here we go. So it started like this. It was totally casual. I was liking it just because I was saying, okay, let's try, let's do it. And really, it's been something amazing. It was casual. I've been really lucky with this, but I like it. I like also the way the people feel is really positive. What I like is when agents or directors of football or players call me and they told me, we like you because you do a positive communication, around the club, around the players. And I try to do my best about it. Never doing with something that can create problems to players or to the clubs, but being always honest with people.
And over the years, you've covered some of the biggest transfers in European football. The Kai Havertz transfer last year, Paul Pogba transfer, the Jaden Sancho saga last summer. Has there been one story or one transfer for you that stuck out from the rest as the most interesting or the most exciting to cover?
For sure, Bruno Fernandes last window in January was really amazing for me, just because there was some feelings around the fans. When you feel the fans that are like, I feel like it's in the stadium. Okay, we are on Twitter, on Instagram, on social media, but you feel like we are in the stadium because it's like they are waiting for a goal, scoring, like chanting and waiting for a goal. It's the same for the transfer when they have the big names. And with Bruno, it was like 6 months asking me, Fabrizio, but Bruno is coming, he's coming, he's coming. And the summer, it was terrible for me to say, no, guys, I know there are a lot of rumors, but he's not coming. So it was really difficult to say no because they were pressing me and I wanted to say yes, but it was a no. And then in January, when I had the news and I can share the photos of Bruno leaving in the airport and everything with the agent, it was amazing for me. So I would say Bruno Fernandes and also Havertz. You mentioned Havertz, for me has been amazing just because I received the news of Havertz. I was with my friends, like having a dinner with 3 of my friends, and it was the night of the Champions League final, so I was bit relaxed, like say, okay, during the Champions League final, nothing is going to happen. Everyone in the world of football is looking at the match, so no problem. And then at the halftime, my source called me and told me, Fabrizio, it's done deal for Havertz. Tomorrow you can say, here we go. I said, how is possible? And he told me, trust me, today they completed everything, and Schick will go to Bayer Leverkusen to be the replacement of Havertz. I said, okay, wow. And the day after, I was checking with the clubs and everything was confirmed. And I said, here we go. But the deal was announced like 2 weeks later. And I had people pressing me for 2 weeks. Why is not official? Why, Fabrizio? And I said, you have to wait, because with official announcement, I can do anything. I can just look at the Twitter profile as you do, because I don't know about official announcement. But I try to do my best with the transfer, yes.
I was going to say, especially with the Havertz transfer, I remember seeing after you tweeted, "Here we go." It seemed like every time you tweeted, there was always a Chelsea fan in the comments saying, "Fabrizio, why has it not been announced today? Why has it not been announced?"
Yes.
So just to finish then, I've got some names written down. I've got 6 names. A few of them have been at the centre of a bit of speculation, whether that's in the past summer or potentially for this summer. So I'd just like a quick prediction over what you think might happen to this player over the next year or so.
Mm-hmm.
So starting off, West Ham with Declan Rice.
Chelsea want him. They always wanted him, and he wants to join Chelsea. But West Ham want 80 million euro. So at the moment, it's really difficult for January. But next summer, for sure, Chelsea, I think, they will try again. Then we will see also for the manager, because if Lampard will stay or if you change the idea with another manager, we will see.
Just sticking with that, do you think Chelsea will back Lampard, or do you think?
Yes, they're backing Lampard, but he needs to change the situation. Obviously, they are still backing Lampard also in the last weeks, but he needs to change. Yes.
One that's been in the papers today, being linked to Barcelona, Erling Haaland.
I think we will hear rumors about Haaland for the next 6 months, and also for the coming years if Borussia Dortmund will keep him, because really every top club wants Haaland. Every top club, Juventus, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, every top club. So also English club, obviously, Manchester United, Manchester City, they are all interested in Haaland. So for sure, Barcelona, yes, but Barcelona has not a president right now. Yeah. So it will depend who will be the president. They will go to the election, they will decide, and then there will be a new board and everything. We will see, but it's nothing advanced yet.
Okay, his teammate, Jaden Sancho, do you think Man United might go back in for him?
Yes, I think next summer it will be an interesting race, not just with Man United, also with other clubs. I don't know at the moment, just because the situation obviously is quiet after last summer, but Manchester United had the agreement with the player and with his agent. So for sure they will try again, I think, next summer.
Another player that's been linked with Manchester United, seems like most players are anyway, Jack Grealish.
He could be linked also with many other clubs, just because, in my opinion, he's a fantastic player. I can't understand why he's not in the top team. But yes, next summer he will leave, in my opinion. He's ready to go to a top club. And yes, he's in the list of many clubs. I think we have to see also what's going on with the pandemic, because if the situation will continue like this, for Manchester United, it will be impossible to sign both Sancho and Grealish. So they have to decide for a top target and then going for other players. We will see also for other clubs, because also Manchester City and many other clubs are looking at him.
Sticking with Man United again, Paul Pogba.
I think he's leaving the club. He's leaving the club just because now he's happy, with Paul, his great situation after Raiola speaking. Now he's going so well on the pitch. But next summer, if an important bid will arrive, and Manchester United will ask around 100 million euros, so it won't be so easy. But we will see if Real Madrid, if Juventus, if Paris Saint-Germain. But next summer, I expect him to leave. In January, impossible.
And finally, the big one. I know we've touched on it a bit, but it might be too early to say, but Lionel Messi.
This is the biggest question of the year, I think. At the moment, everything is open, really. So I would say Barcelona has good chances still, but also Manchester City and Paris Saint-Germain are ready to go on Leo Messi if he will decide to leave Barcelona. So it's an open race for Leo. And I think for this kind of player, it won't be a transfer. It will be like part of the history of football. So we have to respect his decision. And when he will take his decision, we will see what's going on.
Absolutely. Well, that just about wraps it up. Fabrizio, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, my friend. Really big pleasure. And when you want, here I am. Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks for everyone watching or listening. If you enjoyed it, then make sure to tune into the next one. I'll see you later.